Welcome back to the Lumbertron podcast. You might have thought I was done for the year, but never fear, there are always more stories to hear. Today's story is that of my wonderful friend and shining star Celeste, who joined me on a winter's day at the Fremont coffee house for a chat about life, the universe, and everything. And then we got chocolate. Celeste is a naturopathic medicine practitioner, massage talk therapist, music lover, giver, dancer, and student of all things spiritual. Together, we co-created a powerful little walk through 2019 and gazed into 2020 and beyond. Come take a listen. Yeah, you're on the Lumbertron podcast. Welcome, Celeste.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here in that wonderful Fremont coffee shop.
This is an old historical place here.
It feels old and historical.
Yeah.
That bathroom reminds me of... It reminds me of a place I used to go to in college, above a bar on Aloha, Laredos, and it was just this nice wood paneling, and they just turned this one into a coffee shop.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a sweet spot.
All right, cool.
I often come here to play cards if I need to.
And they also serve beer as well as coffee.
Right. And snacks.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So... we'll just start off with the biggest question.
Okay.
Hey, Celeste. Who are you? Who are you?
That's always such a trippy question. I mean, I often ask myself that question.
Who are you today?
Who am I today? That's actually a really great question. Today, I am a tender cookie, I feel. Tender is an interesting word for me. I often consider tender as part of like my repertoire. It's like a strong word for me in some way. You know, it's like when I feel tender, then I know that I'm taking things in.
Is it vulnerable, or is that a place of like yielding?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, both.
Mm-hmm. Like everything under tender would be like if you did a mind map of what tender was, it would be like yielding, vulnerable, curious, a little cautious. Yeah. Everything, I'm being receptive, to everything around me.
It's like on the spectrum, it's like tender, timid is like below it.
Definitely.
It's like not quite, yeah.
Yeah. So I still am participating. I'm just participating, I'm stepping in with, like a receptor of impact, things are going to impact me today. So that's who I am today. I'm feeling very tender. I'm taking note of the full year, kind of like what we were talking about since we're approaching the end of the year. Yeah. Taking note of the full year. I've turned 40 this year. Big 40. Yeah. Which are rites of passages, and during my 40th birthday, I had some musicians and just made it as special as I could. Yeah. And in my little speech, which it's always so sweet to make little birthday speeches. But in my speech I mentioned beauty, that what I'm trying to invoke this year is beauty. And so with beauty comes a lot of kind of ancient archetypal stuff around beauty. So it's like when something's beautiful, if you just imagine it like a flower, would you just observe it and nourish it and water it, or are you going to pluck it and take it home and, put it in a container? So there's a lot that goes into when you sort of set a little bit of an archetype of like, I'm going to live a life of beauty today or this year, So it's been an interesting year since I invoked all that. So much has sort of unfolded.
So how are you celebrating this year? Do you normally do like some sort of yearly review? Do you just kind of like take some time and...
Yeah, I mean, it used to be back in the day before I had my own business that I would take some time to reflect. But this year is more about, taxes and putting together kind of future estimations around payroll, and it's a really strong time frame, to
logistics and real world implications.
Yeah. It's a lot of adulting now.
How long have you had this business?
My private practice has been 4.5 years, but the full practice has been 12. Whoa.
What do you practice?
I practice naturopathic medicine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been in school 11 years post high school and moved to Seattle for Bastyr University. And that was a 5-year program. Okay. So I've been graduated and practicing medicine pretty quickly thereafter. I'm one of those constitutional types where I just work, I work.
That's what you do?
That's what I do. I work, and so my philosophy is your job should match who you are very naturally. Mm-hmm. So then you just kind of get paid for being you. Yeah. That's sort of how I roll.
And did you find that medicine was were you called to that?
100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm Mexican. I come from Texas, and my great-grandmother, Carmen, she came from Mexico, and she was a midwife, doctor. So I pretty much grew up observing her with her patients. So that was sort of in the back of my mind. And then working at Whole Foods, in the herbal department, and, considering things like vitamin E, helping with, breast tenderness or fibrotic breast or something. Just finding it made sense to just sort of,
You were called to that,
totally food.
That knowledge, that healing.
Yeah, food, herbs, connection. So then when I found Bastyr, it just made total sense.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So what kind of things do you do at your practice as that naturopath?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Is there anything you specialize in? Is it different every day?
It's different every single day. I'm like a mycelia mushroom. Every day I will approach the environment, the patients, their bodies, and just be open and ready for whatever. I get to spend an hour with my patients, which is just absolutely amazing, connecting with people. It could be anything from primary health care, they have a cold, or it's time to follow up on a diet, modification that we've made, or maybe they need a little counseling. I also do a lot of body work and chiropractic adjustments, so maybe it's they're in for a neck adjustment or a hip adjustment, and then at the same time we check in with how's their sleep, or how's their diet, or how's their mind.
Yeah, just guiding them to fully centered health.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I often see children also. So children, women, men, pretty much anything.
Everyone.
Wow.
I wanted to say jack of all trades or a Swiss Army knife, but those are both wrong. That sounds knives are sharp, and you're the Jill of all trades.
They often say it's the one-stop shop.
The
doc.
one-stop shop. There you go.
Yeah.
Get your neck adjusted and also do some therapy. When you went to school, did you have a goal of what you're going to, I'm going to be a naturopath?
Yeah, the original goal when I was, let's say, 14 years old was to be an anesthesiologist. That was my goal.
Nice and specific.
Yeah, there was something magic. I was into vampires, right? And I somehow romanticized that an anesthesiologist would have somebody between life and death and would have to know all of
so romantic.
I know. That's definitely true. Yeah, and so you would have to know their physiology and exactly how much medication to give them, and that way they would wake up on time. And so I found myself pretty romanticized by being an anesthesiologist, plus the fat paycheck that they would sort of guarantee that you would get. So that was my plan at age 14.
Nice.
Yeah. But then I discovered that there's something integrative, there's sort of a little bit more kind of the balance or the middle. I find myself attracted to that in general. In life, integrating.
Yeah. Oh, that balance. I strive for that balance. I'm very black and white thinking, and I try to notice the rainbow in between.
Always.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah.
Yeah. When I think of it as the gray in between, it feels like a compromise.
No.
It feels murky.
Yeah.
It takes the magic out of it.
No, the sparkle in between all the parts. Yeah.
So the sparkle in between all the parts, you went to Bastyr, and how did it go from Bastyr to naturopath?
Yeah.
Did you pick up all these skills like chiropractic, counseling? Did you pick that up there? Have you got them along the way?
No, all of that was pretty much taught at Bastyr. I also had kind of a natural affinity for body work or massage work. So I've always loved the anatomy of just the anatomy of anything, zoology. Like all my undergrad was, into science. I was into science, so I have a BS, and then I have a minor in art. So for every science class, I took an art class, and so everything I would learn in science, I would pretty much draw or paint, and get really wacky with that.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So Bastyr, once I was there and learned all of like herbs and chiropractic, counseling, all the ologies and all of the ologies. Yep. It's fairly easy to sort of implement in some way, The process during school, though, I thought I was just going to be a doctor, but I ended up having to do a lot of my own healing work, and that's where I understood that the magic of naturopathic medicine is, it's a privilege to hold that kind of space for patients and for myself, and because it's like, when you boil up a big pot of soup, you're just going to have a bowl. You can't drink the whole thing, and so all the parts they all have to show up, so then this cup of soup is just like perfect, the one spoonful of soup is perfect, so it's like, it was an interesting process to go through, like whittling down some of my old stuff and making room for new things, and that was it was an information overload for sure. Once I kind of got through that part, then I found a colleague who wanted to open a business together, and so
it was a joint venture from then forward.
Yeah, it was really sweet to join that with her. She was incredible and taught me so much, way older than me, maybe about 20 years older than me, so she just had a very different outlook and really schooled me. I thought school was over, but I learned so much more. We didn't end up going into practice with each other. We're amazing friends still, and she's a great mentor for me. But then I joined a clinic that I was needed at. The doctor didn't want to do women's health, and I love women's health stuff, so I ended up just sort of fitting in where I fit in, So that was really fun, and that was 6.5 years with that group. Finally, it was time to open up my own private practice, and it's so sweet. It's been an adventure.
So you say finally, like, were you yearning to what changed? What shifted?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
There's like that individuation process that starts to happen when you're in a community. You start to realize that you see it differently or practice a little differently, and patients like that. I wasn't, being weird or weirder than normal. Yeah. It's just my heart, my style of practice was differentiating compared to the group around me. And so it just worked that way. It just seemed really perfect, and
kind of naturally branched off.
It naturally branched off. I know. Yeah. Which is really sweet, when things unfold like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good.
And so that's where you are today. That's just doing your own thing, and then
I just
all the folks.
I just saw a couple patients this morning and sent off a couple of faxes and made a couple of orders for things. Washed my hands and closed up my clinic and came here.
So it's a very, there's freedom I hear in there.
Yeah, I need that, as a naturopath, everything is inspiring and fuel for me. So therefore I can be fuel for patients. So I need that flexibility.
Yeah.
I mean, I give myself a major structure also. I'm a very structured person, and I'm also very fluid. So I try to find the sparkle even in my own personalities and my practices.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Finding that sparkle.
Always.
What other things outside of your practice? Where are some other sparkles for you?
Oh my. Well, I did meet you at dance. Dance. Yeah, I figured out it's been a year. So November the 9th last year.
Got a date and everything.
Yeah. It was a big moment where I realized that the insides were not matching my outsides. My mind's flexibility and my mind's complexity and capability to go there did not match my body. My knees or my hips or even my own adventurous spirit around letting go into someone else's arms were not practiced. So when I started going to dance class and seeing that that's actually something I could practice every day or a couple times a week, I definitely jumped on that. So I go to dance 3 times a week pretty much. Walk around Green Lake or whatever I need to do. So exercise is a big component for me. I always schedule a random day. So Wednesdays are my random days.
Random day. Okay. What was the last random? I'd like to say, what does a random day look like? But give an example of a previous random day.
Well, tomorrow's Wednesday, so I'll have my random day tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing what happens. A random day could be getting up, maybe walking, maybe around Green Lake or around the neighborhood. Maybe jumping on the bus and going downtown for experience. Pike Market is always a great place to start a random day because there's so many elements and aspects that you can jump on. So random day would be whatever feels like has that sparkle and is nourishing me. I love going to the Seattle Art Museum. I'm a member there.
So would random is one way to, would you say flow is a big part of that day, of just kind of like going with the feeling and being
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Absolutely. I might take the bus all the way to the ocean or someone's home or drive somewhere.
You just don't know what's going to happen that
I
day.
just don't know.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm going to talk to. I don't make any appointments on Wednesday. I just keep it in the flow entirely. I have to have a day like that. What happens is I get a complete image or a mirrored image of where I am and who am I and how much I've been doing a good job or what I need to work on. And I know I use the world like that. When you have a flow day or a random day, you can kind of just assess where you're at by who you meet or what kind of magic you get into. What are your capabilities?
Yeah, really using your day as a sounding board for your life's experience.
100%. And for my soul, I get the complete reflection. Who I meet, who I talk to. You just don't go and talk to anybody. I mean, it's like the people that end up saying hello are perfect.
Yeah.
The people that you connect with or the places that I end up being, they're just perfect. And they're just so nourishing to me. Yeah, you can also call it a nourishing day.
Nourishing day.
It's a nourishing day.
A nourishing day of flow.
I need it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really relate to having those experiences are few and far between with routine in my life. If I cling to like having the same job hours every day, then there's less opportunity for that. But when I say like, okay, I'm gonna take the bus to Seattle today, that's what's gonna happen. Doing handstands in the park. Didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah,
that's the truth. Yeah, Seattle Center is another really cool spot. But just, we live in Seattle. It's incredible here. The aquarium is another one that I really enjoy to go to. And that area has just been really developed. And so people are sitting around and enjoying the view. And so when you know that they're enjoying the view, you can just sort of relax into it.
Have you always been this open and adventurous? Has it always been
Yes.
This person going around on random days and just enjoying the scenery.
Yes. Pretty much since I could remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's just a natural expression to be out there and invite the beautiful energy into your life.
I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. I have a big capacity for love, and how better to fill it than the kind of nourishing elements of the unknown, you know?
Mm. Yeah.
When you ask people to do that for you, it's pretty weird. It's way too much.
People are only one facet, only one thing that can go into the giant bowl.
Yeah.
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 I see. Experiencing is very enriching for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That nourishes me. That's sweet to remember.
Yeah. Experience.
Yeah, just today I was considering, there's a relationship that I'm working on right now, a specific relationship. And it's so interesting when you experience one relationship pulling you in versus the capacity of everyone. It's like, if you connect to just one, a lot of energy goes into just one. But if you just look at the bigger picture, then there's like experience or the collective.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like they're two options, literally. And so today I was sort of experiencing putting a lot of energy into one person,
Mm-hmm.
and just feeling like, oh, I feel like that pulls on them, that feels a little disrespectful in some way to them.
Interesting.
Because it's a lot to pull in on one person, Instead, it's better to kind of do the collective. I don't know.
Hold some back for yourself and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I see that as an expression of boundaries. It's like holding your own boundaries as opposed to just being completely open.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can imagine that's a part of me that I've had to work on for a long time.
So you're no stranger to doing your own emotional work and figuring yourself out.
No.
Yeah.
40 years, man. This is it.
That's right. Perfect every day. Always work to do.
Always. Never done. What about my story so far kind of turns you on or gives you a little bit of inspiration?
I'm very inspired by the idea of a flow day, a random day, if you will, just taking a day of novelty and nourishment.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's because I find myself I'm not always so open and one with the world. That energy you talk about, giving energy to one person, it's almost always to myself or my partner Caitlin. It's very, very focused, and so having more places to put my energy it's enlightening and broaden my horizons going out there. You say we live in Seattle, and it's just like, oh, there's so much out there, it's unexplored, and it's either scary or it's an exciting possibility for adventure. Yeah, it's a really like mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like right over there. There's a chocolate factory.
There's a chocolate factory.
I didn't even know I was gonna be at a chocolate factory.
We
today.
should totally go eat some chocolate.
We're gonna go eat some chocolate later.
Yeah, I am constantly looking for the jewels of Seattle. I've lived here for 16 years, and I'm still exploring new aspects of this city. And it's like this timing in some way. Just this year alone, I got exposed to 4 different communities that have been just hugely, kind of part of the development of the city, and like where the artists really go and live and where they're nourished. And I've been here for 16 years, and I finally explored these places. And when I walked into each one of them, the various communities were like, how is this your first time here? Like, you so belong. And I'm like, I do. It was like turning the page in some way.
It's a continuation of the story.
It's a continuation of the Seattle story. I'm grateful to the city, Yeah.
That's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, with going into this new year, the year of beauty is don't want to say ending because the beauty is always there.
Oh my God. Well, my birthday is July 10th, so I have a full year till July 10th, 2020 to practice this archetype of beauty coming through. So my new year just started a couple months ago.
I get it. You're going birthday to birthday.
Yeah, I go birthday to birthday. I also go to New Year, but
yeah, that with your personal goals. So what does that look like? That beauty?
Yeah.
Where do you find that manifesting?
The word is nourishment.
Yeah.
When you find something that's beautiful, when you are beautiful, and you want to approach things that are beautiful, you can't just pluck it. You can't just push it or pull on it. You have to nourish it. There's a responsibility to the beauty that you bring to the world. So I'm being more responsible to myself and nourishing myself way more. Just valuing all those beautiful aspects. And we all know beauty is in everything. Beauty is in the ugly, beauty is in the hard, beauty is in the easy, beauty is in the dark and the light. It's everything. So just nourishing and valuing all those parts as if they were the most beautiful thing ever.
Just holding them all in a whole.
All in all, nourishing them like sweet little flowers, So I'm doing that. My dad did say this is the year of 2020, clear vision. So, whoa. Visual acuity, hardcore. Here we go. Yeah, we'll see. I'm into a lot of different paradigms, like the paradigm of astrology and the paradigm of the fifth dimension living, or quantum physics, or just politics also,
You're just open to all things.
All of them, basically.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so all of them are going into the new year, right? And so each one of them has their, I guess maybe their subject matters or their particularities that...
Language.
Yeah, their own language. But they're all saying the same thing, really, right now. It's like, these are chaotic times, and you must practice how to be open to all the aspects and still maintain beautiful and nourished and supported. And that can look like a lot of different things for different people. Getting closer to home, or just practicing how to jump fast in case shit's thrown at you. I mean, there's so many different ways of preparing for that.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. There's like a spiritual beauty, and then there's like the beauty in just being able to jump in case of anything.
True.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I would like to learn specifically, personally for me, I would like to learn how to let go in someone's arms in dance class. I would also like to learn how to be on the floor and get up and stand without hands. And I would also I would like to practice for 2020 how to maybe be in love in general. I think those are my main pillars for 2020.
Those are some pretty sweet intentions. I like that a lot.
I mean, just as a disclaimer, I also clean my house, and I have gone through all my closets, and my taxes are already done, so I'm good. And my projections for next year are great, and patients are wonderful. We have 3 more weeks before the end of the year, so my practice is great, and I've signed a lease, and so all those practical things are done.
Just like boom.
Done.
Yeah. Move on to the real big matters.
The big matters.
Yeah.
I want to when people dip you in dance, they dip you, and you can, the one being dipped lifts their arm up, and they close their eyes for a moment.
And then they fly, because that's just how David works.
Totally. That is a goal for 2020 for me. So
find that physical flow. Yeah, it's incredible to behold.
Yeah, that's a goal of mine. How about you? What are your goals for 2020?
Oh, I've only just begun to think about that. Yeah. But I want to maintain at least the sense of community that I've started to foster, and start to really branch out and explore Like you, I want to find beauty in all of the things, especially in myself. I want to maintain being open, and I think I want to be on stage again.
Yes.
I want to be up on stage and not out of a sense of ego. I want to be out of a sense of celebration. And be like, yeah, doing a cool thing.
Service.
Yeah.
What do you mean again?
With Om Culture, I went up and performed with a band. There's a band on stage, and a bunch of SAG dancers got up and just danced to one of their songs from a bunch of people.
Oh my God, I love it.
I didn't think I'd be doing that this year.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, just modeling the I am open, taken to infinity and beyond.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
I'm shying away from like, I want to do this in a sentence, because it's just like, that's just a thing. Intentions are a good starting point. Yeah.
I feel the same way. I also did add it's been my 5th day touching a guitar, but I am doing 21 days of guitar playing, and I've learned C and G and
pretty cool
E
advent
minor.
calendar.
Yeah, basically I started an advent calendar. Yeah, and I borrowed a guitar, so then I can touch it every day. And this morning, it's been really, really, really rewarding to touch the guitar, because I jam on the guitar. Like, I don't know chords, but I've been watching music for so long, and I stare at the way guitarists hold their hands, and so I just play as if I know, but I'm finally gonna like slow down a little bit and push on the things that are universal, like C and G and E. You know,
Learn the language.
Learn that language.
Yeah. It's magic. It's seeing someone who's well versed in an instrument is like they're conducting magic.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I decided, because, part of my 2020 is to feel true love, and true love can happen through the guitar. It's in the shape of a heart, it's up against your belly and your heart, and, you're playing for everyone to hear, and it's rhythmic and it's ancient. So that's how to sort of ground this idea of experiencing true love in 2020. I'm going to call it guitar playing.
Celeste is going to be a rock star in 2020.
Basically.
Literally.
I'm going to be a rock star. Yeah, those rock stars get me all the time. So rather than going after one or two or whatever, I'll just become one. Like I said, I'm mycelia. I'm learning. Boom. I'm learning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't have any witty final question to end this with. So imagine someone who's just heard this story. Imagine what final wisdom do you just want to give them?
I would say share the magic that you are. Just emanate it, feel your own capabilities, and then just share it.
Don't hold back your gold. The world deserves to see all of you.
The world deserves it. And if you show all of you, then I can show all of me. You become permission for me to shine and sparkle.
Yeah, more of that. More of that, please. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited to support your process, and thank you for hearing mine.
It was an honor and a privilege. Peace and love, am I right? I hope that listening to our talk could bring you to a higher vibration. And as always, if you have any questions or feedback, please send it over to lumbertronic@gmail.com. And until next time, keep sharing your story.